of Talk Shit Podcast for another episode. So, like we promised last time, this is a continuation of our eighth episode of sorts. So, this episode deals with a topic that's under the same umbrella as our previous episode did. So, it isn't exactly a second part to the first episode because we don't wish to carry forward that discussion ahead. Not within this season, at least. We might in the future. Who knows? But with that being said, today we're discussing, taking ahead in that umbrella, we're discussing the topic of artistic media again, but not while drawing comparisons or telling how mainstream media is poisoning them, but rather bringing to everyone's attention what artistic media really is and what it really, what significance and importance it holds for us personally and our opinions on it and how, we feel like maybe how us as the next generation can bring this sort of media and form of entertainment more towards everyone else's attention and give it the rightful reputation and respect it deserves. With that being said, I'm your co-host Saurabh,
And your second co-host, Saurav.
and today again, like the last time, we're joined by Shantanu, Anirudh, and Rohan. So you guys can collectively say hi and fuck up the ears of my speakers. So when I say three, two, one, everyone's gonna say hi together. Okay, three, two, one.
Hi.
Okay.
Hi.
Hi.
That was so uncoordinated. You guys are horrible.
Mike,
You
it's
all,
called it's called it's called mic latency issues. Okay,
you
that's what
all
it's called.
failed
Don't blame
school.
them.
You all failed school. I'm just saying.
I mean,
Okay.
PewDiePie actually did fail school. I think, if I'm
Oh, he
not wrong.
did. He
Yeah,
just
college.
left college. He
He
didn't.
did he not did he not attend
No.
college or something? Oh yeah, fuck. Shit, man.
What's PewDiePie relevant again? Fuck that.
Because
Moving.
profile picture.
Yes. For context, Rohan's profile picture is that of Felix Kuchelberg. Okay. Yes. With that out of the way, let's dive into the topic. So before we start today's episode, I really want to first talk about the fact that how in last episode, a common pattern that I noticed in the podcast was the fact that, and I didn't bring it to everyone's attention then because I think it slipped my mind. But I would like to do it now because this is an important topic with what we're going to talk about. So the pattern that I'm talking about is in movies. And while our topic was about comparing mainstream media to artistic media, we were basing the judgment and value of artistic media based on its what do you say standards in comparison to other films, like like what I feel like something that we as individuals shouldn't do, because if we do this we're basically taking away the originality of a particular subject. And it's like if you have any movie in front of you, for example, take a very fucked up psychological thriller like The Lobster by Yorgos Lanthimos, and you start to compare it with a masterpiece like The Interstellar. And keep in mind, when I say a masterpiece like Interstellar, I do not mean to undermine or devalue the essence or originality of The Lobster, because The Lobster is a fucking amazing movie for those of you who have seen it. But at the same time, when I say this, I mean that you cannot base your arguments and compare two mediums or two subjects together because of how one has excelled in its field and the other maybe haven't hasn't. And I feel like that's wrong simply because of the fact that if I personally produce an artwork today, because I'm an artist, okay, I make paintings, I make sketches, I make drawings, I produce a specific painting, and someone goes ahead and tells me that this painting is good, but have you seen Van Gogh's? His looks better. I will be offended. And it won't be like I'll be offended because I can't take criticism. Because that's not criticism there. That will be you comparing my work to someone else's work. If you want to give me criticism, you can give me criticism on the fact that my work lacks certain things that comes into the justification and qualification of a certain work for its standard. Like you can compare Van Gogh's shoes to a banana taped to a wall. Okay? But at the same time, you cannot compare Van Gogh's painting to that of
College students
Michelangelo or
painting.
college students. Yeah, exactly. So in the same essence, you can't go ahead and say that a movie like Joker isn't good enough because Interstellar set the boundaries. Interstellar has set a height. It has set a height for that particular genre to excel in that place. But that doesn't inadvertently mean that any subject that is produced in the future loses its value immediately if it's not good enough to keep that level of status. Like you guys get what I'm saying?
Yes.
Yeah, yeah.
And I wanted to bring this to everyone's attention, like I said previously, because this is something that we did a lot in the previous episode. And when I really sat back and looked upon it, I felt like it's something that we shouldn't have done. Because even if you're comparing a Rohit Shetty movie or Dhoom to Interstellar, a callback to the last episode, it is still an unfair comparison, irrespective of the fact that Dhoom is a movie. But yeah.
Barely classifies as a movie, but okay, it is a movie.
It's a movie. It's a decently good film. I'm not gonna
It,
deny. I
it,
enjoyed it.
it's a masala movie, dude. It's
Yeah,
it's
you
just
keep your mind
entertainment for
aside and you watch it.
entertainment.
Yeah, exactly. But at
Yeah.
the same time, it's like as simple as the fact that if you're gonna sit here and comment on the fact that Avengers Endgame is a shitty film in comparison to Interstellar because Interstellar is an artistic thriller sci-fi movie which is directed by someone like Christopher Nolan that takes place in a very different universe. Your argument inadvertently means nothing to me, and I call it out for extreme bullshit because first you're comparing two differently set genres. Secondly, you're comparing a subject with its own uniqueness, which has nothing to do with the other subject's uniqueness. And thirdly, when you draw these comparisons, you're just being salty about the fact that you enjoyed a certain level of artistic media, and because how much influence you are by it, you have started to revolve your entire life behind every other media that comes across you as a form of judgment and comparison to it. You cannot weigh the value of gold against a diamond just because of the difference in their weights. You know what I'm saying?
That's right. Yeah.
And yeah,
Can we start with the podcast? I
yeah.
think
This
that
is this
monologue
is
is too long.
essential. This is the
So
podcast, right?
yeah, it is essential. It is. I think everyone I think here on the
Yeah.
panel has got that point, and we don't
So
really
I
need to
wanna
discuss this
say
further. Is what I'm
that
saying. That's all.
I just wanna say, like, artistic media is a very beautiful thing. And the reason why I think we all came together and spoke about this topic and are talking about it today as well is because of how much we can appreciate it at least or see the inherent meaning and uniqueness of that particular medium. Because when you watch an artistic film, you are exposed to something new. Each and every artistic medium, each and every artistic subject that you see in a film is a new topic, it's a new subject, it's a new story to be told, right? We judge it if it has a similar story, a similar construct. But irrespective of that, we are lucky enough to witness something new right before our eyes. And that's something that I really, 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 really wanted to bring to our attention because, like, we are fortunate enough to watch all these movies. Like, we are all privileged people, air quotes, as everyone says, and we have the privilege to watch all these movies and draw criticism and judgment upon them. And with that being said, when we make the podcast and the argument that artistic media is something that we really fantasize and gloriously represent in this episode and the one before, there's a reason why we have stressed so much on that subject, and it's because there is a certain amount of meaning a certain what do you say subject has held, which we all collectively have felt is something that has been greatly overlooked upon. And because of that being the way it is, we are making these episodes. And with that being said, guys, I want to start today's discussion with a small director. And you, Shantanu, Anirudh, Saurabh, you guys would most definitely know this because you guys are the one who know me the most here. I always talk about this guy, and it's none other than the Greek masterpiece Yorgos Lanthimos. And the reason why I want to talk about this guy today so gloriously. Wait, before I actually move on, I just want to get one thing out of the way as well. Like, is there anything else that any of you might want to add to something that I have previously said till now?
Okay, guys, and this specifically goes for this episode as well. I want to know. This is off air, okay? So I edit this out when
Okay.
I say this. Um, can we just not discuss about directors because I feel like I mean I'm not saying that directors should not be like should be completely eliminated from this topic, but this panel is about artistic films and
Yeah.
not about directors.
We're talking
So
about people.
let's just concentrate.
Dude,
Yeah, so let's
basically
just
talking
concentrate
about
on
the
the film.
creators. We're talking about the artists. Don't worry.
No,
Yeah,
we
we're
are,
talking about
but
the
I'm
artists
saying
who
that,
make the
but
art.
Yeah,
yeah,
exactly.
but the thing is, I'm still saying let's put the concentration on the film itself. Like last time, I remember when we were talking about the artistic media being taken over by the mainstream media, right? We were talking a lot about directors rather than the actual film that was
We
being made.
actually
And I'm
weren't.
not.
We barely
Because
No,
they
no,
spoke
we
make
about
up the
were.
actual
directors.
film.
But
No,
dude,
no, I'm
it's
not
the
saying.
directors who make the film. That's why they have to be
No,
put
no,
into
I
it.
know, I know. I'm not denying that, but this is not an episode about directors. This is an episode about films.
No,
So let's keep it to that.
if you're talking about films,
So
directors very famous.
talk about it as an overall aspect
Don't
rather than
worry,
just
we have
concentrating
the
on one.
entire thing in
That's
mind.
all
We'll
I'm
do
saying.
it. Just chill. Go
No,
on.
yeah, I know. I'm just telling everyone.
Putting
Just
that out.
I lost
yeah,
my
exactly.
fucking rhythm. What was I saying? Yeah, so, uh, yeah, like that. With that being said, is there anything that any of you want to add to something that I've previously said in the beginning of this episode about the artistic media thing or
No.
anything?
Nah.
Okay, all good. All right,
Yeah.
so moving on.
Hello, Rohan, are you there? Hello.
Rohan.
Yes, I am.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
am. I'm here.
So moving ahead,
Hmm.
I want to know, like, have any of you seen any works by Yorgos Lanthimos? And the reason why I'm
I've
bringing
seen
so
just
much,
one,
yeah, which one?
which you recommended, The Lobster.
Okay.
As have I.
And
The
As have
killing
I.
of the killing of the
oh
sacred deer.
yes, the killing of a sacred deer. Okay, nice. Saurabh, any movies by
I
Yorgos?
have not seen any work of Yorgos Lanthimos.
Okay. So the reason why I brought attention to this specific director is because he's one of the few directors in the Hollywood industry who writes his whole film throughout. We have directors who write the film as well, but they are always aided by a secondary screenwriter. Yorgos Lanthimos is someone who will take the help of a secondary screenwriter just to write the screenplay. But the entire story is something that comes right out of his mind, without any edits. And that's what gives this movie that sense of uneasiness and, that inherent feeling of, oh my god, what the fuck is going on? And the reason why I want to talk about this is because if you've seen Killing of a Sacred Deer and The Lobster, with both in which both Colin Farrell is the common actor, right? Lanthimos himself has casted Colin Farrell for both of these works. Farrell plays the hotel resident in Lobster, and he plays the father in The Killing of a Sacred Deer. And honestly, before I saw The Lobster or The Killing of a Sacred Deer, Colin Farrell was I was barely even aware of this guy's existence, personally. Okay, but after I saw these films, I was like, this guy is a terrific actor. And the reason why I bring this ahead is because his movies, Lanthimos' movies, other than the cinematography, the color grading, and the direction, the actors are so wonderful. Like, their acting doesn't even feel like acting. It's the most natural form of acting I've ever seen. Like, the way they converse, the way they interact, the way they talk, the way they interact with the environment, it's literally how you would envision a regular person to do it or to do so. And that's one of the reasons why his movies inherently feel so goddamn uneasy the moment you start watching them, is because when you're watching the film, I think we all are under the impression that, okay, this is a movie, this isn't real, we're watching it as a media of entertainment. But when you watch something that's, so fucking realistic, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's like so uneasily realistic. It's like, that is too real to be true, right? And that's an atmosphere which I think barely anyone can accomplish, because that's really a feat by which I think we should judge movies ahead, because creating that sense of realistic uneasiness is the greatest form of thrilling excitement I think one can offer.
There's
Well,
actually
this comes
somebody who
back to-
does the exact opposite to very good effect, who is Shantanu's favorite director, Wes
Yeah,
Anderson.
Wes Anderson.
And to very good effect.
Yeah, go on.
He does a wonderful job of making his movies look like, it seems like something
They
a
look
child
like
has
toy
dreamed up.
sets.
Yeah,
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly.
So,
There's something
so
unrealistic.
there's something that's like common in all these artistic directors is that, like in the last episode, we said visual literacy.
Yeah.
Like in case of
Yeah,
Wes
yeah.
Anderson, if the scene portrays love,
Yeah.
it'll be either pink or blue, the backgrounds, like
Or
the whole
red.
set. Yeah, if it's anger, it'll be red. If
Yeah.
it's some rich person's house,
So
it'll
it'll be
be
yellowish,
like dark
golden.
colors.
Yeah.
Yeah, so if you look at his movies, none of the dialogues have any, like they rarely have any emotion in them.
Yeah,
It's
it's
like the
the
actors are
set
reading
that
reading the script out.
right.
But
But
because
still
of
we
how-
feel it because of the whole color, the music, everything, and his
And
direction.
it works. And it works.
Yeah.
Biggest thing. Yeah, go
Anyway,
on.
coming back to Yorgos Lanthimos. We talk
Yeah.
about him later, Wes Anderson.
Yeah, so like coming back to Yorgos Lanthimos, I think that with Wes Anderson that works because of the genre of films that he deals with. Because almost all the movies that he deals with are fantasy in a way or not, right? Like they're all movies about they're like a little bit fable-ish. I'm not gonna say fable like Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs or something.
Even he may a lot of times creates the atmosphere of uneasiness,
Yeah, he does, and he
even though it's
successfully
very
does that.
yeah
That's very well seen in I think what was that movie called The Moonrise?
the Moonrise Kingdom.
The Moonrise Kingdom.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
there are
Yeah,
several parts in that film which make you feel a little irksome. Even though it's a
yeah,
romantic comedy, but it's like, whoa, what's happening right now?
yeah.
It's like the entire movie is about a 12-year-old protagonist, right? And
Hmm.
yeah, like when I bring that ahead also, why I'm drawing this sort of, it's like I will say like two sides of a coin if you put Yorgos Lanthimos and Wes Anderson together. To unrealistically create such a fake atmosphere that the person ahead will accept it, and to realistically create such an atmosphere that the person will not accept it. I think that's the beauty of
Yeah.
filmmaking here, because like you're ready to like ignore what is very much out there in front of you, and you're ready to accept what's not there at all. And I think that's a big play of fear in our mind, because we can't accept change, and we fear
Hmm.
change. And when that change is as real as it gets, you avoid it. But knowing that this is something that's completely fantasy and fable, you're gonna be like, oh, fine, fuck it. You know what? It's just another story. And
Hmm.
with that being said, like I think that's a very good job when Yorgos Lanthimos does with his movies. Because like if you take so Rohan, you've seen Killing of a Sacred Deer, right? You guys haven't seen Killing of a
Mm,
Sacred Deer.
not the entire movie.
You haven't seen the entire film.
No, I've downloaded it today and I'm going to see it.
Okay, that's fine.
Yeah.
But how much have you've seen at least like 30%, 40%?
I've seen it, but I cannot talk about it.
Okay. But
Yes.
so like let's draw our attention towards the lobster then. So okay, when you really like cut down lobster's narrative, it is about mindless masturbation, sex, and looking for love in a world filled with humans turning into animals. That's basically what the lobster is, right? But such a bizarre, awkward subject has been turned into a very metaphorical
Somehow
movie.
people can relate to it.
Exactly. Like I'm not gonna. If you ask me on a regular day basis, I'm not gonna relate to a guy who's like turned into an ostrich because he had premarital sex.
Yeah,
But when I watch the lobster, I'm gonna be like, oh fuck, he didn't fuck, and I'm a lobster. I'm like, bro, same, bro. I'm also a lobster because I fucked someone before
yeah.
falling into a relationship with it. It's like it's this weird feeling, right? And it's like, how the fuck do I even feel this? And I think that's a very good thing that artistic media do. Because, like, to create that environment and that atmosphere to make a person relate to something completely unrelatable is a very awkward and great feat to
Yeah.
accomplish. And, like, yeah, if you guys have anything to say, like, go ahead. Because I'm talking a lot and I'm just want to keep on rambling on.
It's not about that director, but now when I watched even Yorgos Lanthimos and Wes Anderson movies, I was fanboying over them. Anirudh knows how much. So I go to my dad. I tell him how great this guy is, like
Yeah.
how he uses the camera, how he uses his sets and everything, how his dialogues are. He doesn't get it. He's like, what's so special about him? It just says that even though your film is very intelligent on how it works, it's very innovative,
Yeah.
it's very risky making a film like that for the
Definitely.
major audience because let's be honest, not many people have heard about Yorgos Lanthimos or Wes Anderson ever.
And like you said, that's one of the reasons it being why.
Yeah,
About
and
Wes
when
Anderson,
so
I'd like to disagree. I think
I
they're
mean,
all
Wes
quite
Anderson
known
is
No,
people.
Wes Anderson is
widely
pretty
known.
popular. That is true.
no, but like okay, so when Grand Budapest Hotel, which is his most popular movie,
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
it used to come on a lot of times, but me as when I didn't put much thought into movies, when I went on, I saw the movie. It was so frozen. Like the camera was symmetrical, the dialogues were there was no emotion in that in the dialogues. I couldn't watch the movie. I was very bored, so I instantly changed it. And even though Grand Budapest Hotel is his most popular movie, it hasn't made that much.
Yeah, it's barely
Yeah.
scratching the surface of a regular Wes Anderson film.
And I think his films are like indie films. He produces them with his own money.
Yeah, he
I
does.
don't
Yeah.
think they are big budget.
Yeah,
And he gets the job done, most importantly. Like, you know.
yeah, he does.
Yeah, so like, you know, with like bringing back to the topic of artistic media, I think a movie that I would like to touch upon again in the similar context is Joker. And why I want to do this is because Joker had a budget of 50 million, okay? And when you compare it to the movies produced at today's scale, that is barely anything. I mean, obviously,
Yeah,
50
yeah.
million is
Yeah.
a lot of money. Barely any of us can even think about that much fucking cash in our pants. But when you put A-list actors like Joaquin Phoenix, Robert De Niro, Zazie Beetz, and everyone,
Yeah.
you know, that's like, like these are people are ready to take this much money to work in a film like this. But when then you do go and you see why they're ready to work in a film like this, right? And you know, it's like
Yeah.
I feel like we as a generation, like I previously mentioned, are fortunate enough to witness such media out in the open because movies like this are still barely accepted. But back in the day, they weren't accepted at all. And you know, to get the privilege of watching such films is a beautiful thing. And you know, like if you take the example of Bergman, I don't know if you guys have seen any Bergman movies. So
Yeah.
yeah, like Bergman, you know, he's a classic black and white era director, right? And he has made some really fucked up films like Alfred Hitchcock, Bergman, all these people. They have made some fucked up art, fucked
But
up.
I have a question regarding all of the art films as a topic in general. Like, do all art films have to have less budget? Because I mean, it's basically like a stereotype that all art films have like less budget and
Yeah.
they all cramp it up
I
with that.
think I think the reason they have less budget is when you're putting a lot of money into a film, they expect a lot of money to be back, you know. Like
Yeah.
you put a lot of money into an Avengers movie because you know it's going to make a lot of money. But that's why I said with an art film, it's risky. You never know how much it's going to make.
But then why? Then how come is a Christopher Nolan film considered an art film? Because I'm not trying to
Because as I
say
said,
this.
the people who are genuinely interested in it are maybe 50% of the audience. The other 50 is there because of the name
Pretentious.
Christopher Nolan.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
No,
I
but
watched
also
the Christopher
Christopher
Nolan movie
Nolan.
and I am a cool
Nolan.
person now. Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead.
No, but a Christopher Nolan movie, it also has some aspects that aren't taken with a like his movies are still entertaining to watch. Like
Yeah.
Shantanu said,
Yeah.
the Grand Budapest Hotel, he wasn't able to watch it the first because you have to understand the where Wes Anderson is coming from to understand the films he's making. Whereas Christopher Nolan
Yeah.
movies, they are instantly watchable. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like even
Yeah,
though you
even
don't
if you don't
understand,
understand, yeah.
you still have that curiosity to like, you have that want to understand it, you know.
I think that comes
Because
with the
it's
reputation of the
interesting.
director too.
And
Yeah,
I think another reason why people watch Christopher Nolan is because of Batman. I mean,
Yeah,
you
that's
may agree it
definitely- I
or
don't
not,
disagree.
because
True.
I think him directing those movies, the trilogy movie was a phenomenal sensation because I mean
True.
Yeah.
because his big budgets came after he directed Batman mostly, like Interstellar.
that's
if you
true.
see, yeah. So I think Batman gave him a really good career boost in terms
The
of
other
that.
thing is it's like Spielberg. Like
Yeah,
Spielberg
Spielberg
makes art,
making
like not
Yeah.
art movies, but really great movies and
Yeah.
art movies at the same time.
Yeah.
But they're entertaining to the mass audience too, just like
Also.
Christopher Nolan's movie.
Also,
think
I
the
don't
main
think
difference is
Interstellar had a
that,
big budget, guys. Just want to put it ahead.
Hmm? What?
Interstellar did not have a very big budget either.
No, but substantially, I will say that it had with the kind of like, I mean, see, most of the budget came only because of the kind of VFX they used in the film. Consider like they had groundbreaking VFX, man. I mean,
No,
honestly.
Nolan doesn't use VFX that
Yeah, he
much.
uses practical
He
No, no,
effects.
doesn't. He uses
no, no,
very
but
minimal effect.
but still, he did use VFX to a certain degree, right?
He uses
And
But to have
ILM.
built the whole endurance and stuff like that, that would have taken a very big amount of money.
Yeah, I think most money. The reason why we call Nolan movies artistic is very much in what you said is the answer because, like Anirudh said, George Lucas, Christopher Nolan, all these films, even take Star Wars as an artistic media. When you really think about it, now it's a well-known pop culture phenomena. But I think it's called artistic because all that you see there, it's physical reality. It's
Yeah.
not
Can-
just, it's not something that's generated on a computer.
Just want to say something.
Yeah, Rohan, you were saying something.
Yeah, Rohan.
Yeah.
Before we discuss about artistic and other type of media, can we like just first define that what we call artistic films?
Yeah.
What is artistic? We're saying this is artistic, that is artistic. But
I think
I'd like
majorly
to-
people
I
don't
would like
understand
to-
that.
I would like to know your opinions, and I'll give mine.
Yeah, I like to tell what my definition of an art film is.
Okay.
There are two types of directors. One who come from with the approach that they want to express themselves, right? They're not really concerned about how the audience reacts. Whereas there are other directors, they make a lot of decisions based on what the audience will like. It's about okay, you know what? This is going to make the audience laugh, so let's put this in. Whereas art directors, quote unquote, will they come from it from their artistic point of view, from what they started, and they continue with that. So I think that's
They just want
my
to tell a story instead of make money.
Yeah.
exactly, yeah.
Yeah, artistic film in general is like the difference between art and design. I mean, to bring it in context, like
that
how
does make
design is
sense.
all about catering to the public audience, whereas
Yeah.
art is all about satisfying your own needs and if people like it. That's
that
for them
makes a lot
also.
of sense. I actually don't disagree.
Yeah.
That's a very good analogy because with what Anirudh said and with what I believe is an artistic media, that makes absolute sense. Because like for me as well, like I call a particular film artistic. So we are here not talking about art films as a set specific genre. We're talking about artistic movies, and this is something that we stress out since the last episode itself. So yeah, I just wanted to make that clear because like for the audience watching, I think they're gonna probably call us out for being like, you're not talking about art films, you're talking about popular movie directors or even this and that. So yeah, for us, I think artistic media is something that involves your own blood and sweat involved into every single frame of it. And I say it in a way that when you watch Star Wars, you're like that Ewok, that Java, that planet, that Millennium Falcon, all these things physically exist. They're there somewhere. People actually sat
Yeah,
in there.
yeah.
People actually know what it looks like. And because of that very reason, I cannot call a movie like the new DCEU movies or MCU movies to be an artistic film because everything that you see it's art. Okay, like it is art, like developing these backgrounds and everything, but everything's on a computer. It's much more convenient. So I think for me, a
Right.
bigger argument about what art film really comprises of is what Saurav said. Like when someone's making a movie to cater to their personal desires to tell a story, rather than feel how an audience would react to it as an art film. See, that would be the difference between a YouTuber who will be making a video to just keep his view count up, and a YouTuber who takes 3 weeks and comes back with a video because he knows it's good enough to be up there.
Yeah.
So yeah, so like that's how I perceive artistic media to be.
Yeah, it's like if in the case of stop motion movies, yeah, there's a lot of stuff going on in there. There's a lot of effort. But you would call Kubo and the Two Strings an art movie, but you won't call Shaun the Sheep an art movie. Like even both of them are stop motion, but It's how they, it's what thought they put in. It's how great the story is, you know,
No, but
and
Shaun the
how the
Sheep is
director
great,
writes.
man.
Yeah,
Shaun the
Shaun the
Sheep,
Sheep was a
it was my
great movie.
childhood. It was a childhood, dude. Like I remember like religiously watching it every day at
Same.
night 11:30 because that's when it used to come.
Yeah,
Fucking
and
up
It
not
my
is,
many
sleep
people saw
schedule.
Kubo and the Two Strings, and a lot of people saw Shaun the Sheep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think
yeah.
that also, like, you cannot say that the original Lion King in comparison to
Hmm.
the newer Lion King. I think that's a very good comparison that I want to bring to everyone's attention because the original Lion King is an art film. Okay?
If you keep in consideration every Disney movie that had been made previously as an animation, like a long time back, even Mickey Mouse for that matter, like
Yeah, the
when it came out in the
original
1950s.
ones.
Yeah, and also like Tom and Jerry.
1930s.
Yes, and see, thing is, Mickey Mouse, as well as Tom and Jerry were not even episodes. They were short films
They were
to
shorts.
represent.
They weren't even films. They were
Yeah,
shorts.
yeah. So they were just there just to express human emotions in the form of animals. And now this has turned, like, over the years, it has been appreciated over and over again, and it's become a pop culture phenomenon. And now everyone's just milking the cow.
Disney loves
True, true.
money. Yeah.
That's what
Yeah,
that's what
that's
Avengers also said.
Okay, what was Rohan's definition of the whole thing?
Art film, yeah.
I think for me, art is just putting out your feelings, or what, into a canvas, into a film reel, anything. Just it's very personal.
yeah,
Just putting out personal things,
definitely. That's
which
Yeah.
what we all said.
yeah,
So we all
just
And
that
I'd like
collectively
to
have
talk
a
it's
about
similar
how
definition when it comes to artistic media. Then
yes.
is that something
I'd
I
like to
can
talk
relate
about
to?
how Saurabh
Um,
said why so many art films have smaller budgets. So what
Yes.
Rohan just said about how the director must express themselves on the screen. When you go to bigger budget films, it's the production houses taking a lot of very big decisions. So that is why
Oh,
it
that
doesn't become
also.
an art, it doesn't stay an art film anymore.
It loses
This
its essence
this
because they
also
have
happens
to.
with shows, like a simple animated show. Um, if you've seen Gravity Falls, Alex
Oh my
Hirsch,
god,
the
I
maker,
love Gravity
yeah,
Falls.
he Disney has made him change so much of the original what he was going to make. Like even little things like the posters you see in the back, what they say, everything. They don't
Exactly.
have they don't have any they have like half the control over what they want to make.
Yeah,
And I think
Everything
it's
that Alex
important
Hirsch
to
did in
know
Gravity Falls, everything that he did, it was like each and every character, each and every scene, each and every dialogue was like a brainchild.
even Rick
But
and Morty we can
when
say
you
for that instance.
yeah, and Rick and Morty was with an independent, it's a more liberal platform, Adult Swim, unlike Disney.
and
I
for
get why
everybody who
Disney does
listens
that,
to
but still.
this, everybody who listens to this and says film is any films or animated cartoons or whatever, or what do you say? They're collaborative projects. It cannot be made by one person, and that's why maybe producers get involved. You have to know that a lot of these producers, they don't really come from artistic backgrounds. They are making decisions based on how much monetary value they are gaining from the
Yeah,
project.
how much they think they'll get back,
But
like they're
that's
Yeah,
doing
because
the new Star Wars
that's
movie.
also because they have to run their production houses for further like
Yeah,
making
we get
films,
that. It's
right?
because
And
they need to
yeah,
be careful with the money they're putting in.
yeah. And okay, coming to the point of that also, like last time we were discussing about, okay, so Dharma Productions for that matter makes a lot of big budgeted like commercial films as well. They've also invested a lot of money in art films also, which goes very because we all blame Karan Johar because he's not just the face of Dharma films, right? There are other
yeah.
people who are also involved in
It's a
this projects.
collaborative
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a
studio.
collaborative initiative. So it's just that people disregard and see, people might say that Karan Johar is not an art director, which he's not, but he's a great businessman. He knows what his people want, and that's what makes him a great filmmaker in that sense.
Hmm.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
get what you mean.
It doesn't make him a like great filmmaker. It makes him a great businessman.
No,
But
I mean
no,
that's true,
like
but
what I would like to say is that um, all great movies don't need to be art movies. If a movie has made a lot of money, it's made a lot of money for a reason. I'm not saying the shitty movies. Uh,
okay. Shantanu went stop motion animation, just like Shaun the
yeah,
Sheep.
like if you're like the Avengers, it's not an art film. It's a big printing machine like for money, and it
Mhm.
works. So
We
it's
cannot.
still a great movie. They're still great movies.
True,
Yeah,
true.
let's also remember that the Student of the Year 2's antagonist Aditya Seal compared Student of the Year 2 film with Avengers Endgame. Let's remember that.
That's
Mind
one
fuck.
of the.
Why would you bring back that memory? Like, imagine.
It's funny, man. It's really funny how he was like, oh, people will watch films like Avengers Endgame will appreciate it, but when they see our reality, they're like, oh, they'll criticize us for what it is. I'm like,
Your
yeah,
reality
obviously,
is
because yours
not
are.
reality.
Because no, it neither is. But the difference is that one has a script and the other doesn't. Like literally.
But
Like
again,
Rajesh
what?
we're
wanted
not
to say
drawing
something.
comparisons in this episode. Okay,
Yeah,
we're
cool. Yeah,
talking
Rohan,
about
you were
just
saying. Sorry.
media.
Yeah, I'm saying we should not also generalize all production houses. Like the Lunchbox Irfan Khan movie that was
Yeah,
produced by Dharma Productions.
Dharma. Exactly.
And like I agree upon that they also have to need to like run a business, but there's one thing to that. Like we should not generalize all production houses. There are like many production houses
Yeah,
which like support independent films. Like Anurag Kashyap made a new production house called Good Bad Films.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
And he's
Hmm.
and he's one of the producers of Choked. Like
Hmm.
should not do that too.
Which brings back Saurabh's point about why we should only stick to talking about the films and not the faces behind the films. I think that would make more sense over here.
Yeah, and going back to our discussion, another very famous artistic venture, because we're talking about artistic media, we're not just focusing on films as such.
Hmm.
It's our borderline
Guys,
adventure.
I'd like to talk about a movie. I don't know if you guys have heard of it,
Go ahead.
but
Mm-hmm.
this movie isn't enjoyable in the sense, but that movie is an experience. Okay, like I've never seen anything like it. It's called Enter the.
Oh yes, I have seen. That's he also the director of that film also made this movie called Love.
Wait,
If you have
enter
watched
the
it.
Oh,
what?
okay, I
I
haven't seen
couldn't
that,
hear
but I've
him.
seen. It's called
Oh,
Enter
Enter
the
the
Void.
Void. Yeah, it's
Oh,
about DMT.
yeah.
It's basically
It
involves
created so
DMT.
many memes.
Oh, that the opening sequence of the film basically like sees him smoking DMT and then in
The
two
entire
fractals.
movie is fucked. It's about life
It's
after
a
death
it's a
and
mind
shit.
fuck. It's a mind fuck film.
There is
I
about 5 minutes of like fractal distillation. This thing. I'm
Yeah.
yes.
pretty sure the movie is meant to be watched while you're high.
Oh, yeah, definitely. I don't remember the name of the director though who directed that film, but I've seen two of his films. That's all.
Neither do I. I
And
actually chanced upon the film, and it's like
huh,
one of those films that you think you won't like, okay? But when you start
yeah,
watching it, you cannot
Yeah.
stop watching it for
And your
some
eyes are
reason.
gonna see 15
yeah.
different colors that you have seen before. It's by Gaspar No.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah. So basically, I think Enter the Void came in the year 2009, I suppose, if I'm not wrong. Am I
Yeah,
wrong in
2009.
that fact? It came out. Yeah, so 2015. There's this movie that came out called Love. It's basically like a French pornographic film,
Yeah,
showing
I
the
know.
relationship between three people, and he was the same director for that film. And see, technically that story wasn't that of moving, but like watching that film, like you was just hooked onto it. I think he as a director has knows how to hook the people on to his film, despite
And
not having such a convincing story. That's what even Enter the Void was all about.
yeah.
It's like an
And
experience.
like Shantanu's dad said about the whole camera thing and not getting all those. There are actually
Hmm.
very subtle decisions that are made that the audience doesn't realize, but it
Yeah.
does affect them. like the
Yeah.
way
Yeah,
the
it does.
camera works and stuff.
Yeah,
So,
but
like,
the people who
I think that's
understand
why
those
that's what
differences
makes
are
Enter
us,
the
right?
Void so great.
I think a good example of that would be Big Bang Theory, and I just want to put this out for that one specific example, because the person who made Big Bang Theory, Friends, and all is the same creator, and this is something that his cast members have, infinitely mentioned in their interactions with the interviews and medias, is the fact that you know, like Chuck Lorre basically, he has these little things here and there, like when there's a certain interaction taking place about dinner, lunch, coffee, or something, he makes the actor or actor now, I'm sorry, my bad, you know, pick up a glass of like a mug and then put it back. And these are something that honestly no one needs to care about because that's not relevant, right? But these little interactions, they give meaning and what do you say, more importance to that scene in a very psychological
It makes
way.
it feel more alive.
Exactly, it makes it
Yeah,
feel more
yeah.
alive. That's what I'm going for. Yeah, thank you about that. Thank you for that.
I have a question.
Yeah.
You were talking about the movie Into the something. I
Enter
haven't,
the
Enter
enter
the
the void.
void.
Enter the
Enter
void.
the
I
Void.
haven't, I haven't seen it. But then you said it's that good that you can't put your eyes off it. Then why did you say that it's not enjoyable?
It's a movie
No.
that
Like when I say it's not enjoyable, I mean it's not a movie that you watch for the script or for this thing that you want
Yeah,
to.
it's a visual experience.
yeah,
That's what it
Yeah,
is.
it's a visual experience. Exactly. Exactly.
it's
Yeah,
That
like
like
that's the reason you cannot look away from the film. It's not because of the plot or because they are doing something new and or there's
yeah.
something there is a twist, something like that. There's
Okay,
none of
so
those things that keep you hooked to the movie. But it's
okay,
the thing,
so
it's the way it's made that
yeah.
keeps you hooked.
Director I want to talk about is Paul Thomas Anderson.
Okay.
we'll get to that. We'll get to Paul Thomas Anderson, but
Yeah,
Saurabh
so
wanted to say
coming back to the
something.
film, even sorry to interrupt, but like Enter the Void, right? So to give you context, spoiler, the film is about a man who basically is a DMT addict,
Yeah.
Can
and
you
his
not do
sister.
that? Can you not do that?
No. Listen.
Please. I
It's
don't. I
not.
Wait,
don't.
wait,
I
wait.
There
One
is
don't.
sec.
literally
One sec.
no.
One sec.
I don't want to
Wait,
listen.
but okay. I would respect someone's wishes to fact that they don't want a certain spoiler because they haven't seen the film because that's something as an avid film.
Yeah, that's true. It's no. I'm not really describing the plot of the film. I'm just talking about like the entire summary of the film, not
Yeah, the
summary as in the premise.
synopsis.
The
Exactly.
premise.
Don't do it.
The
Don't do
premise.
it.
No, the premise. The
I
premise of
don't.
the film.
I don't watch. I don't
Okay.
watch. Listen. I don't watch trailers. Why are you telling me summaries?
Oh shit! What?
Yes. Yes.
No, what is it? Okay, I have a question. How many of you don't watch trailers here of films at all? Like just so that you want to take a
I
suspense of
have
the
been
film.
trying to do that for so many
Me,
years,
I
but I
don't watch
cannot hold
trailers.
myself.
Okay,
I've
I
Trailers
really
are
have.
enjoyable to me.
I've recently
Yeah, I
started
feel
this
like
practice of not watching trailers.
I
no,
respect
but
No,
people
why,
who
there's a
can
why,
do that.
reason
why
I
for
can't
that.
do
so?
it
There's a
myself.
reason
Why?
because some
Because it
trailers
will
give away the whole movie.
Yeah,
exactly. And I
unless
don't want to even see the glimpse.
yeah, I respect
Exactly,
that.
yeah.
I
You
completely
want that
respect that.
full experience while watching the movie for the
No,
first
but
time.
like trailers, like the trailer for Tenet, it doesn't give away anything.
Dude, but you still have
No,
a
it does.
There are
certain
some
It
trailers,
idea
does.
there are
of
It
what
does.
it's gonna
I
be
just
like.
want to say something.
Where it just
It
shows
does.
that time goes back.
Yes, exactly.
Nothing else.
And that's an
Nothing else.
important element in the
Isn't
film.
isn't that the biggest element?
Yeah.
That is something, but that doesn't give out
No, but
anything
No,
that's
about
I
the
okay.
agree
story.
with
That's
I
only
agree
the.
with Rohan and Anirudh there because I've been trying to do this thing that a very popular movie that I know is coming out. I don't want to ever watch a trailer of it or any even a
What is
glimpse of
the
it.
movie's
Can
name? If we
I,
we know that.
can I speak? I just want to
The
say something.
Batman
Yeah.
2021 by Matt Reeves.
See,
Oh, okay.
the reason I don't watch trailer is that even a car flip or even a plane flying can have a little, can have a, like a big effect on a movie. I just don't want
Definitely.
to see that. I don't want to see. I saw the trailer of There Will Be Blood before watching There Will Be Blood, and it ruined it.
Yeah.
Oh.
I just don't the in like if I'm right in one in the trailer there's like the oil coming out and blasting through the machinery.
Yeah.
That is like one of the key moments of the movie. I don't want to
Yeah.
see it. Yeah.
I don't know why, but I end up watching the trailer for movies nowadays after actually watching the film.
Okay. That's
Sometimes
all.
I just
think that's
love
But
how
that's
the
a
trailers.
but
Every
I
that's
think that's
Some
partly the reason for
everyone
what is.
everyone have his British.
no,
No.
but
Everyone in the
watching it after the
comments has
film.
something to add to the film, and like they give their take on the film. And I think that's the reason I go back to the trailer.
But that's still smart to do, right? Like watching the film, like watching the trailer after the film, because you get to know what the trailer was also trying to put forward.
I think that
Yeah,
You
ultimately
yeah.
makes
know,
sense.
What I feel about trailer is just a hook that the production or the like
it's an
anybody creates.
advertisement.
I
Yeah,
think
yeah,
like a
teasers are better
advertisement.
than
That's the
trailers.
point.
Yeah, it's like a hook to like come here. That's like the movie trying to
Yeah,
say
that is what an
come here. All the
advertisement is.
production companies like pulling the audience with the trailer. It's
Definitely.
just that, nothing else, nothing.
yeah. I mean, trailers are
That
meant
is
to
what
give
trailers
you
do
that
for.
expectation.
Yeah,
Exactly.
they aren't
Like
just
I
doing
watch
it
trailers, I
for
only
the sake
watch
of
trailers.
doing
Like I watch trailers just for the excitement of the film. Like it
Exactly.
increases my expectations,
it. Yeah.
or
Yeah.
it goes down all towards. Like I see the
Yeah.
trailer and I judge whether I'll watch it or no.
Exactly.
Coming,
And
Plus,
yeah.
I think
the
you
best
should, if you've seen
example.
the film, I think you should watch the trailer for an American Sniper. I think that's a
Bradley
great
Cooper.
Yeah.
trailer.
Bradley Cooper.
Dude,
Um,
guys, just because we're on this discussion, I just want to put this point ahead. Like, completely random, but I just really want to get this out of my system. Suicide Squad till this day has the best trailer and the worst film ever
it
made.
did. It hyped everyone up so bad.
The trailer is so
Yeah,
good.
that's what I'm saying. Sometimes I watch the trailer because they're so much better than the movies. Artemis Fowl, the trailer
Oh
was
my god.
amazing.
No, the
Oh
What
trailer
is
is.
man.
this? See, this is why I get angry.
Dude, like,
Yeah,
why did
this
you
is
ruin it?
yeah, you like this is the reason.
Oh my god.
I am burning right now. All right.
Yeah, oh my
Yeah,
god.
but
Oh
getting
shit.
back to our topic,
That
jokes apart, you
like
know,
oh man, fuck.
like,
Give me some random clips. I'll give you a very nice trailer with like a good adrenaline rush. No
I
big
wanna
deal. Just an editing technique. Just it's just that basic nutshell.
It's like the Indian soap operas are big trailers.
Okay, guys, shut the fuck up. We're getting back to the topic, okay? Like, Jesus fucking Christ. We're talking about artistic media again. I want to bring to everyone's attention a very popular film. And that being none other than James Cameron's Avatar, which we touched upon in the previous episode, at least slightly scratched the surface. But I want to talk
Yes.
about it as a whole because, our discussion is about artistic media in general today. We're not drawing comparison to mainstream media. Avatar is a movie that at this point it's considered as a mainstream film, right? Because of the popularity and money it made. But
No. Like one thing I just want to say, if a movie gets popular, it doesn't mean it comes from a arty film and then becomes a commercial film. It's not like that.
we're not saying that.
No, but no.
Just let me complete. If there will be blood of Paul Thomas Anderson suddenly like breaks all record, it won't be a commercial film. Like
No, but
it will be
to the mass
it will
public,
be
it is a commercial film.
no,
The reason
there
a
are
lot of people saw.
aspects of commercial film. Like, are you talking about the respect of the money? Okay, but if in the mindset of when I put artistic films as when the people put on their their personal work, their art over there, and commercial like when they're trying to make something for the public or anything like which is not the like artistic way. It doesn't like if it makes money, it is not like a very like commercial film.
I think
It's
one
just
I
an
think,
art film that
Rohan, one sec.
art
I
love.
think you have gotten the entire meaning of what I said wrong. Because that is not what I meant when I said that Avatar as a movie is a mainstream film that loses its essence or meaning. What the point that I'm trying to raise over here is the fact that we have been sitting here and talking about artistic media and its prime original quality. And Avatar is a film that's James Cameron's semen on a film reel. Okay, that's literally how I would describe Avatar. He nutted on that film reel, put all his brain cells onto it, and gave us this beautiful.
He gave us the greatest orgasm that he could have
Yeah, exactly. Like
given.
everyone got
I
fucked
don't
when they
like the
watched
movie
Avatar.
that much.
I love it. It's
Yeah.
mesmerizing.
No, I mean,
It has a great
Okay.
story, terrific acting, considering the fact that everything is an animated creature, and it uses practical effects too.
they have put so much effort into it. All the animals in the movie, they have actually there's a lore of evolution of those
Dude,
animals, how they evolved into it.
I'd like to talk about James Cameron for a second.
Yeah, sure.
I think James Cameron movies, especially the newer ones, um, there is no heart in them. For me, okay, please hear me out.
Yeah, definitely.
It's like he gets James Cameron is extremely involved in how the film looks and how much technical grounds it's breaking for its time.
Yeah.
He loses like what do you say?
The
He
storytelling
loses
aspect
connect
of
with the
it.
actual the storytelling aspect exactly.
I
Which I
I
think is
understand on a certain level that that
I
does make
agree.
sense.
I agree.
Yeah, even I felt the
But if
same for.
I agree.
I
Okay, yeah.
feel
So
that with
can I
Avatar
can I
as
add
well.
something?
Yeah, just one
Can
second.
I
Just
add
one
something?
second. Just one second.
Haha, yeah.
Before you go ahead, I just want to talk about this. I agree with you on this, is because, but at the same time, I think that's a big drawback for Avatar, the movie as well, irrespective of the fact that Avatar has a very strong story. Okay, it has a lot of cliche tropes,
It does.
but it has a very strong like. See, there's nothing wrong with taking cliche tropes, but if you can excel it right and still give it a level of originality and uniqueness to it, it's still accepted.
It was called the worst film to be nominated in Best Picture.
What?
yeah.
Just saying.
What could you repeat?
I couldn't
It
understand.
was it was called one of the worst films to be nominated in Best Picture.
I agree with that as
It
well.
is
Yeah, I
true.
don't
It
get
is.
now.
It is a. Okay, so okay. Can
To
I
many
add?
people,
Can I add something to the part of why
Yeah,
Avatar?
sure.
Avatar. Sorry, not Avatar. Okay, so why see? I agree to this completely. Why? And Shantanu, I kind of understand where you're coming from. When I watched the film for the first time, I was I think 9 years old, and okay, I went and watched it with my parents in 3D. To be honest, the visuals are spectacular. Like उसको तुम
They
TV
are
पे देखो in 2009
mind-blowing.
versus you watch it in theaters.
Yeah, I
It's mind-blowing.
swear.
It's like the kind of visual effects that it had is comparable to the films that are being released now.
It's so ahead
Like
of
that's
its
how
time.
good the visual. Yeah, but coming to the story, it was not that appealing in my opinion, and I think everyone
It
agrees
isn't.
to me on this.
Yeah,
It's
definitely.
a very
I have like a theory why. Because to a lot of people, what Avatar is, Blue Monkey gets on a dragon, jumps on tree. That is what Avatar is.
I just wanna
Yeah.
Quite
why
human.
And wait, let me complete. Let me complete.
uh,
But if Avatar, like just picture this, if Avatar was made by a less known director with African tribes, okay, African tribes, all that
Oh
sex and
my
everything,
god,
it
yes.
would have been considered as an art movie. People would have actually seen what it's trying to say, what the
No,
story
but
is,
Oh,
even then the
instead
there
of
is
art isn't
actually a
doing
film like
anything
that.
that original.
Okay, but
what?
It's
talking
only the
about
technology and stuff that makes it
Yeah,
that original.
Anirudh
That's
is
what I was
right
trying
over
to
here
say.
because Avatar, when it
But-
comes to its
Yeah.
screenplay, it's a very common trope, which, like I said before, it's a common trope, but adapted very beautifully and in its own unique manner. You know, it
True, yeah,
expresses.
People are still
it's a
discussing
good
that movie.
experience. It's
People
an
are still
enjoyable
discussing
experience.
that
like
movie
it's like
if
a
humans were right or if they were right,
Yeah,
whatever,
exactly.
whatsoever.
it's
okay, so
Avatar feels like a family going for an adventure ride and having a good time and coming back.
yeah,
It
it's
really
basically like
does.
any Marvel or DC
It's
film.
like
Like it has
like
a very
like the what are those roller
theme
coasters?
park, theme parks. Going to a theme park and then enjoying.
But the
Yeah.
simplistic screenplay complements the visuals.
Yeah, like, but see, this is why I think James Cameron is such a great director, is because uh, even though with the cliched trope of the storyline, it's that the kind of things that he put forward in this film, like not just the groundbreaking visuals, but also preparing the language of
What
the
language?
Yeah,
alien.
like it's the details. Like he has
Yeah, he
created
has
a
given
world
his
which is
rightful
so
Yeah.
effort.
believable.
Yeah, exactly. He's
Everything,
created.
why they are more heighted, why this leaf is colored
Yeah,
like
he's
that.
put science. He's put science as logic in a film.
Yeah,
Like, I mean,
Avatar
though
He's
it's
physically
very,
makes
he's
sense.
really not. Honestly, James Cameron is probably one of the most commercial directors. I mean, there are 4 parts of Avatar that are coming out, guys.
There are
Exactly.
8 actually. The 4 are decided. There's going to
Can we
be
like
8 parts.
can we like stop glorifying Avatar right now?
Yes,
no,
We're
please.
not
but no,
glorifying
okay, we're not
Avatar.
glorifying it,
I'm
but
sorry,
we are,
like
we are
you cannot pass a comment like just like that. Because like
Yeah,
we're here
exactly.
talking
It's a
about
good-
Avatar,
To some
if
people,
we're talking or gushing about this movie, it's because it has done successfully and it has successfully, delivered what it promised. Okay? No one gave a
Yeah.
fuck about Avatar when the trailer came out, other than the fact that it's a James Cameron film. Avatar became famous because every person who went and saw the movie was like, dude, you have to go this film, it'll change your life forever. And they were right.
And then you can say the same thing for Bahubali too. Then
Yeah, but
apply
Yeah,
apply the
exactly.
same language.
That's
Apply the
exactly
same
why
language to
Bahubali.
Bahubali.
I don't
No,
disagree with
that's why
that either.
Bahubali.
Bahubali
Yeah, yeah,
1
yeah.
changed my entire
I-
perspective on Indian cinema altogether.
Yeah, and
What?
also like
Rohan
the kind
talks for a second.
this guy Saitron gave a 15-minute or half an hour lecture at the start of the movie about comparisons like this.
See, then
And
you
he
should not.
said,
Then you,
literally did that.
then I cannot present my opinion and like if you're
It's not just that. It's not just that. It's
I'm
how much effort. It's the world
I,
building.
I
It's the
didn't
heart
even
he's put
utter a
into the
word
movie.
called.
See,
I
you
didn't
can
even
go out
utter.
away and say GTA 5 is a great game and that
See,
Ubisoft's
I
Assassin's
didn't-
Creed is a different game. But if you sit and
I-
compare
I-
both of them, that'll be an illogical argument.
Okay, wait, let him speak. Let him speak. Let him speak. Yeah, Rohan, speak. Tell what
Yeah.
you're. Yeah.
What I was trying to say is like me complaining about Avatar. I like the film. It's very nice. All of that is good. But I was saying that if you can say the same thing about Bahubali too. But Bahubali was a movie that was like I feel it was style without substance. What I felt like there are better screenplays that I've seen. But
Yeah.
yeah, but something
Definitely.
Yeah,
just
but
saying
relevance.
that
Okay.
what relevant?
Okay. Can I add something after you're done so I can say something?
Go ahead.
If you
If
say
you don't mind.
Mughal Azam, then I'll be yes, okay, okay.
Okay.
All right,
Better.
then I'll be like, all right. But Bahubali was it was very nice. It was a joyride. I loved it very much. But if you're saying like it's the greatest and all that shit, then I don't agree.
We aren't
Okay.
saying it's the greatest.
Yeah,
Okay,
exactly.
so coming to the comparison of Bahubali and Avatar, for that matter, see, the thing is, I'm not, see, SS Rajamouli is a good director.
He's an
who's
amazing
directed a
director.
yeah, he's directed a phenomenal film as Bahubali 1 and Bahubali 2. But see, the thing is, if you compare it with things like, see, Bahubali did not have
What
the
about
effort that was
what
put
about
in
what about
as,
Tumbad?
Can you let him
About-
finish once?
yeah, so,
I'm sorry, your voice cut.
Hello?
I'm sorry.
hello, can you hear me
Yeah,
now?
go on, go on.
Yes,
Okay,
yes.
see, I mean, talking about the substance of the film, Bahubali had a very cliched trope again.
Definitely.
Like, I was like, okay, great, groundbreaking visuals. Most people, in my opinion, just went for that film because it had the biggest budget ever. Like everyone was like, 300 crore की film बनी है, चलना देखने चलते हैं.
हाँ.
That's what I felt about that film. Half the people didn't give a shit that it was SS Rajamouli. Like, वो 300 crore की film है. The same thing happened with Robo 2.0. That film that was released a few, I think a year back or so.
Yeah.
But yeah, but coming to the point, see, James Cameron, half the people that go to watch James Cameron film is again the same thing that goes with Christopher Nolan. Half the people want to see his work, and the other half is just going for the clout or like, oh, dekh, maine bhi dekha hai film type
Yeah.
thing. And there is a third category of people that just go for the reason why it's a word of mouth. People go to James Cameron film, enjoy the fuck out of that film, and they're like, "Arey, dude, there is this film for
Yeah.
Avatar. You have to watch it."
The same thing I
And
said that
that's-
it's a joyride.
Yeah,
Okay,
exactly.
It's a roller coaster.
I have a question.
Yeah.
If you're saying, can I say?
I'm
something?
yeah, go ahead.
Then you can say. You're talking about visuals of Bahubali, and I agree, they're like very good. But what about Tumbad? It had a visual that were like spectacular, and
Definitely.
a screenplay.
Yeah, definitely.
Was all and a screenplay which was also spectacular, and something which was new. Why didn't that get appreciation?
Because,
Tumbad was
like-
godlike. Holy fuck.
No,
that
but see,
movie was-
keeping into consideration, James Cameron has had a career since the 80s, since the 70s for that instance, right?
Bahubali.
No. Even, okay, so the director, Aziz Rajmouli, people knew him for a very long time. He's not a newcomer in the industry. He's been working for a. But if you see a film like Tumbad, okay, great story, phenomenal experience, but flopped at the box office because
I
it's not a very known film.
Not
Like,
just that,
I mean,
like, okay, so
No, good production
Tumbad is
also.
supposed to be horror, right?
Yeah,
Uh,
one of the
kind
best Bollywood horror films I've ever seen. I would say.
fantasy, I would say fantasy.
Yeah, fantasy horror, like it scared the fuck out of me. Yeah, horror. So, when I hear the term Indian horror movies, it's bad.
Yeah,
All of them
yeah,
are
we all
bad.
agree on
No,
that.
Tumbad is
Yeah.
the only good one. So if I hear about another what?
Sorry, continue.
Yeah, so if I hear about an Indian horror movie coming out, my main reaction is going to be it's very shitty. Maybe that's a reason why most people didn't see it. Maybe.
yeah, that's one of the reasons I didn't see it too in theaters.
There are a lot of horror movies that like got good at the box office.
Which
Wait,
one?
I want
Okay,
to
like
talk about Tumbad for a second.
Yes, I
I
just
think
want to know your opinion.
so. All you guys love the movie completely, right? But for me, I feel like the screenplay is lacking. Okay, like the concept is good. The concept is good. The direction is good. Everything about the movie is great. But I think the screenplay is lacking in the way that the main concept of the film feels like a video game side quest. I mean, it does not feel. It feels like when they talk, when they, when the movie starts, you feel like some big stuff is going to happen, but really, it doesn't. I don't think it delivers on that impact that it creates in the start of the movie.
I partially agree with you on that one. I won't
Okay,
completely
I
I
am
agree,
didn't
not
feel
that
that way.
deep into
but
the,
I
I mean,
somehow
into
get
the,
Okay, you can
under
have
what
your
sense
opinions.
you've
That's
said
that's
that.
fine. That's fine. You can have your opinions on that.
I mean, I never really thought about it that deep.
Yeah.
So like getting back to the whole Avatar, you guys like it's a cliche trope. I get it. Um, do you think poor man good, rich man bad, poor man takes over rich man is a cliche trope?
Oh, it's
Yes,
squeezed out of existence.
that's
Snowpiercer, Snowpiercer, and somewhat Parasite.
no
Okay,
Parasite more than
See.
yeah, 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 yeah.
Sorry, Anirudh, can
That
I?
even
Oh,
that
like,
is a cliche trope, isn't it?
I just want to say something.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
You saying poor man gets rich, blah blah blah. Like, oh, I am not going to say the entire thing, but you're just like you're just stating the entire Parasite in just like these words. It's the
Ga-
movie. The movie is no. The movie is more than that. The movie is a
The
lot.
movie is more than that because of the type of symbolism it uses, because it has that whole artsy aspect to it. But when it gets down to it,
No,
it
you
is
cannot like.
true.
But
yeah,
I
there are a
agree.
lot of things. There are a lot of things going around in a movie. You cannot just
like
like
what
there are like break
No,
it.
no,
they
no.
show
See,
societal
Very,
differences, which is a part of the whole thing.
wait, hang on, Rohan. Before you say anything, what Shantanu is trying to say here is when you strip away every artistic vision, that whatever he's saying, whatever the director has added, the end of the day, the premise of the movie is
Yeah,
but that stripping away of the artistic thing, that the artistic thing you're stripping away makes the film a great film.
of course. And what James Cameron or whatever they're
The
making, because
difference.
they used so much, used phenomenal visual effects.
Dude, visual
It,
effects are
it is
different from what
Yeah,
symbolism and stuff like
it's
that.
no.
see,
What I'm saying is because they used all these visual effects to the more to the major people, it came off as as an Avengers movie, as a movie which is just supposed to be enjoyed and does nothing. But why I think it's so good is that people are still talking about it. You go over to YouTube, all of them have like these entire theories, and it's not like those sci-fi theories. It's like what the movie actually meant.
Okay,
Any movie
so,
that creates a lot of.
yeah, as
okay,
there.
this can be represented in this manner. Okay, like what I inferred from what Shantanu said. Let's take James Cameron's Avatar as fries. Just this plot of the story, not anything else. Remove the visual effects, everything. Just the normal potato fry that we all love eating at McDonald's or whatever. So, okay. Thing is, you don't really need anything with fries. You can just eat it all on its own.
Definitely.
But the sauce, the tomato sauce, the mustard that you get along with the fries make it better, right? They enhance the taste of the entire, and your experience gets better as you keep munching on it. I think the visual effects of that film was like that sauce that you get with the film.
I mean,
With
even
the
when you
fries.
talk about the visual effects, it's not that groundbreaking. Let me explain. So
Alright.
a film like Avatar was the visual effects that brought in a lot of people and stuff like that because it looks very large scale or whatever. But let me talk about David Fincher for a second.
Oh,
There's a movie called Zodiac,
yeah, I'm
and
seeing
David
that.
Oh.
Fincher
Oh,
uses a lot of animation, and you don't
Uh-huh.
even realize because all his movies are not movies that they show up as animated movies or whatever. So I think that's even more groundbreaking in a way. So Avatar really wasn't breaking any ground
It
with its
was
visual
actually
No,
when
effects.
it came
actually it
out.
was.
With
It
its
See,
was,
visual
yes,
Avatar
effects.
like
was.
it was
Uh,
right from one droplet of water,
see,
like him going into that. Everything felt so real. Everything made every VFX artist, every animator
okay,
question
Dude, but
how did they even do
Shantanu, in
that?
the end of the day,
something.
you still knew that that's like a fantasy world. This guy
Yeah,
created
That's
1970s
the whole point
America
of
with
that's why
but
animation.
guys,
yes.
the reason
guys,
it was so successful
I just want
is
to say
because it felt so immersive.
listen.
It felt so
I
real.
feel like we're
you.
Every
doing the
animation.
one
See,
thing that we
I
discussed
want to
we
say something.
wouldn't do. One sec. I haven't said anything in a long time, and I want to bring this to everyone's attention because I think you guys forgot the fact that James Cameron, irrespective of the fact that Avatar didn't have such a strong screenplay by most people's judgment, which is not an incorrect opinion, that it makes sense. I understand where that emotion and that feeling comes from. That visual effects in there, it's groundbreaking for a very good reason, and that being for the era it came out in and what it conquered. And you see visual effects of those scale in movies these days. Like you can the visual effects on Avatar is something that you can compare to that of Avengers Endgame. And I say this
Exactly.
because they
It's
are
like
up par.
GTFI came out 7 years ago, but it's still relevant. All of it,
Exactly.
and it's like Avatar. It's the animation is still relevant.
Dude,
I
but
just
Yes,
want to say something.
have you seen Zodiac?
I have.
Dude,
I
that's like a
haven't.
real
Yeah,
movie.
yeah.
That and everything is like David Fincher doesn't even use practical blood. Even the blood in that movie is visual effect.
Yeah.
See,
So when
we are
you
just
compare that to Avatar, the visual effects aren't really groundbreaking. They are
When did
just
it come out?
really, they are just. It came out 2 years before Avatar did.
It came out in 2007.
But but the thing is, but like
Avatar just
even
polished it up and did a better
yeah,
job
and
with
that's
I
why
what
it was
was
felt
good.
I
That's why
already.
it
felt
was good.
No,
I
no,
If
felt
no.
it
Avatar
polished
Listen,
it
was
up.
listen. It already polished up with something that has already been done, and that's like saying, dude, Star Wars isn't that good because some other movie already had visual effects better than, or 2001: A Space Odyssey didn't have very good visual effects. Is better than Star Wars because it did a bigger job with the same.
The whole point of this was that if you're going to judge a movie because it has a genetic trope, like he brought up, because people didn't like it because it was so generic, then even Parasite had a genetic trope.
it
Definitely.
wasn't.
Then yeah,
See, uh, you're just talking about the animation and the VFX of Avatar. Besides that, I don't see anything like that fantastic that I will like
if
watch it
I
again and
pointed
again.
out that
There
if
is
the
just
movie
it
was
is
made,
just okay, can I just complete?
yeah,
It was just the package. Like when I open the can, there's like the nutrition is not that great. It's just like बहुत सुंदर सा they have made the package and all that thing.
Avatar is a visual experience. There is no doubt
Yeah,
about it.
Yeah.
yes, it is. It is like a roller coaster. Like you and your family going for a adventure park thing. Yeah,
But that's still
not
again,
according, not completely according to the good
you
of
can go to adventure park. No problem with that.
dude, but that still doesn't take away the inherent importance and meaning of a certain product. That's all I'm going to say.
We can have our differences. Let us continue.
But yeah, like, with that being said, I think if you, with what Anirudh said previously about the fact that James Cameron more towards the future of the films lost its soul and heart that was very much there in the previous movies, and a very good example would be Terminator 2 Judgment Day, and comparing it to Avatar.
Yeah.
And I want to make this comparison because it's by the same creator, so it's rightful that I can draw such a comparison. And I want to do this
Yeah.
because Terminator 2 Judgment Day makes you feel all these emotions for a fucking robot that very much killed everyone in the first part. And suddenly you're sympathizing and empathizing with everything that a non-living machine is doing for a fucking 12, 14-year-old boy. That heart is not even remotely there in Avatar. Avatar made me scared of characters, it made me feel a lot of emotions. But it cannot compare to what I felt when I saw Terminator 2, which to this day is my most favorite Terminator film ever made.
Avatar just made me
I
like
think it's because
Avatar
it's a
made
different
me
genre completely.
Avatar made me
Like
just like
Terminator
wow,
2
like
is an
the
artistic
visuals are
film.
nice.
no,
Irrespective of the fact that it's
Avatar
mainstream.
wasn't meant to give
See,
you give any heart to any character. It was a
Yeah.
story about this
But
rebellion
it did
which
though.
takes over.
like
Irregardless, you
why?
still
Why? Like
empathize them.
see what I feel when what I in like I what I personally do is like when I see a film and I like the film is just stuck in my head for and like if the film is stuck in my head I consider it like that's a personal thing. I just consider it a great film. I watch it again and I see what the director did with various elements of the film, but it just stuck in my head. I feel it's a very good film, and Avatar just didn't do that. I didn't even give it a second
So,
watch.
like you
I
said, it's a
didn't feel
Yeah,
personal
that.
like
opinion.
how
That's
many
your
people
I
personal
really
didn't
opinion.
care
feel
about the
that. I
Avatar
didn't.
sequels?
Yeah, I saw Master. It destroyed my month. मेरा
That's
पूरा
pretty
महीना गायब हो
surprising.
गया. It is, but shouldn't we like uh, do it in this fashion too?
See,
Yeah, like
your
you can
personal
be
opinion
wowed.
is
You
how
can.
you perceive this particular thing.
But
But then again,
everybody does. Everybody does. If you see a very nice film, like amazing, like every character is so fleshed out and so amazingly written, it just stuck inside the story. I don't think about Avatar after I reach
What
my
if I tell
home.
you I thought about Avatar?
yeah,
So
You
then
I
can
this
have
should be
do
your
to this
objective, isn't it?
day.
Yeah.
you can
Avatar
What if I
lingers
told
in my
you I
mind to
still
this
think
day.
about that movie?
Yeah, exactly.
For
See,
me, Avatar was like a film that I watched in theaters, and I was just mesmerized by the visuals rather than the actual story. Like
Rohan,
as a
when
9-year-old
you
kid, that I
said
mean.
your
The
personal
reason
opinion,
I'm not talking about the first time I saw the movie because the first time I saw the movie I was 8 years old.
Yeah.
So
No, but when I watched the second time, which was on TV, which looked horrible, in fact, on TV, because it was meant to be fit in that IMAX screen with
yes,
the surround sound, like curved display with 3D glasses. That's what it was meant for. And right now, I don't think that film matters anymore. It's just a
yes,
film to be experienced in theaters. That's it.
yes, it's a correct, correct.
It's a
It's
joyride. It's a joyride.
Rohan,
Exactly
exactly.
like
one
it.
sec, guys,
I
guys,
can
guys.
watch
One
I
sec.
can watch
I want to put
Thomas
something
Anderson's
ahead.
movie. I
Rohan,
was
when you put the opinion ahead that you particularly think about a movie that lingers in your mind as a great film, similarly, we over here, Saurav and Shantanu and I, when we make the argument that why we feel Avatar is such a great film is because, like you said, maybe it didn't stick with you as much, but it stuck with us.
but there are like basic fundamental things that we judge a film with, na? Like the
But we can
screenplay, the
make that
character.
generalized opinion about every content
It
that
is
we
not.
come across. I can go ahead and
So
call any movie that way that it has a fundamental thing that's common in everything. You cannot go
okay,
ahead and just point that out.
okay. Then what about There Will Be Blood?
What about it?
Yeah,
What about yeah,
it
it
is.
stuck in my head. Yeah, it did.
Yes.
It was a nice
So
movie.
No,
what do you
but
want me to
see,
say?
thing
It's
is,
stuck
there
in
are
my head.
people
It's a
out
great
there.
film.
And
But
there are
okay, we need
different
to
people
keep
who
it.
experience different things and they'll experience films differently. So
Yeah,
anything can
Yeah,
stick with
exactly. There are
anybody.
Yeah.
people
Okay,
out there who
they,
defend BVS and Man of Steel for being masterpiece, and Zack Snyder creating epic cinematic feats with those films. They're pure shit in our
okay,
opinion.
giving this as an example. Okay, there are people who love. Okay, who just can't get their heads out of Student of the Year, but
Exactly.
they'll get bored sitting in the theater,
Who
sitting and
are
watching Interstellar.
who
There
are
are
these?
I'm
people like
slowly
that.
starting to
No,
suspect that Saurabh
okay,
has a
okay, no,
favorite
no, no,
film.
no. Okay, see, listen.
See, when I
Okay. I don't mean to draw this comparison, but I do because it's after all like why
I
those
understand.
mainstream film also there as a part of the film industry is because not everyone can enjoy a film art film. Like see, for example, okay,
Yeah, that's what I was
has
saying.
any
It's
one of
risky.
you
Exactly.
yeah, exactly. Has any one of
And
you
Paul
seen
Thomas
this movie
Anderson's
called?
audience is a very niche audience.
This
Yeah,
is
I
a
don't think
Completely
really
niche.
anyone,
niche audience.
not everyone can understand his films. Like that's the saddest part. Like, but his films are so good to watch. Like if you keep your head into the film, it's mind-boggling.
Like,
Okay,
in fact, like a lot of people who did not understand Interstellar, they did not think it's a great film because they are more interested in, yo, what the hell just happened? I need to find out what happened. More
yeah.
than, okay, that was a great film.
Yeah, like there are two types of people who came out of the movie. Like some people are discussing about like time and stuff. The other people, bro, wave, man, wave, sorry, wave.
Problem
Yeah,
with
that is because that is what happened. They didn't go in further. And then on the second day, they will try and explain to me how the whole film went, and they'll be like, they start with the wave and
I just want to
everything.
say something. The problem that
Yeah.
I have with Nolan films is with the dialogues. The dialogues are just like direct. Like when I saw Inception, I was like thrown like into uh, a theory. In after every minute, like this will happen, then that will happen. Everything conveyed with dialogues.
And
Everything
that's bad
giving
because
that. Nee, that's not. I did I say it's bad?
You
I
said
mean,
it
no, no,
was
let him.
bad.
No, no, you
Yeah.
said. You say what you were saying. Complete.
Don't like. Okay. See, the problem that I have with it is like everything is so like. I told you, and the opposite side when I say Godfather is like every eye contact means something, every look, everything, every like body language means something.
yeah.
So I prefer like the that kind of films. I love Nolan. I respect Nolan. He's like he's amazing in every
Why I
sense.
think he did that was because maybe
The
even with the
film.
dialogues, the movies are very confusing. Okay, you won't get it at the first
Oh,
But
setting,
no
sorry.
one,
it was
none
just
of us did. What are you talking about?
it was just but I felt it was just throwing like every like new theories like with the dialogues, plain dialogues. Like I didn't feel
About the
very
dialogue,
I didn't feel the motivation behind the
What
dialogue.
I
That's
think
what I
is
was
that,
yeah, but about the
like,
dialogue, like, the same reason you are saying, many people, when they see very stylized dialogue, they hate it because they are trying to understand how they didn't come here to like literally read a book. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They just want the dialogues to get the job done. So maybe you look at it from, maybe it does affect you, the dialogue, but many
like
people aren't even looking at the dialogue
personally,
only. Like personally,
okay.
I never realize I don't think I've ever seen a movie that has such bad dialogue that it is I have pointed that out. However, when there is great dialogue, that is something I do notice. For
Like
example, the dialogue in the Steve Jobs movie, which was written by Aaron Sorkin, that was
Yeah.
great dialogue.
one great piece of dialogue I want to say is Quentin Tarantino's Pulp Fiction when they are sitting on the dining table and they're like, "Why don't you eat pig?" Then he says, "I'm Jew." He says, "Pig is a filthy animal," and then they develop a conversation on that. And there is like the dialogue comes from the character's like place. I feel the dialogue is like more connected to the character.
even in
That's what
Irishman,
I'm.
they like
So keeping
blended the
that.
dialogue with his,
Huh.
like, it was type of a, he was narrating the entire thing, Robert De Niro. But they like, you never, sometimes it's so well blended with the dialogue between Al Pacino and everyone. Even the actors, like, they are memorable
Yeah, definitely.
in
Dude, The
Irishman.
Irishman, Al Pacino's performance in The Irishman was,
Okay.
oh my God, was incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No doubt.
The way they, not only the dialogue, but also
Even the way he dies, it's so natural.
yeah, exactly.
Am I
Yeah,
getting
I
too
think
strong?
like Anirudh said, like I agree that if, for example, if I'm watching a film, I don't really put so much stress into the dialogues or anything, but also that when a film has such great dialogue, you just want to like remember it. Whereas I don't know, but I've never really thought about it in such detail, so I won't really.
In Christopher Nolan movies, I would just say it worked. Even
It
If
if
worked.
and just like
yeah, I
Shantanu
never
said,
noticed
if
that.
Interstellar had complicated dialogue, nobody would have understood the
Yeah,
movie.
Yeah, I
yeah.
mean, no one understood it in the first place.
I
The
think a
first
very
time
good
they sat in
example
that
of
film.
that in artistic media would be Robert Eggers. Because if you've seen Robert Eggers' films like The Lighthouse or The Witch,
Oh yeah,
he has paid
yeah.
the most utmost attention to every single aspect, including the accents of the people that speak. And
Hmm.
Lighthouse and is one movie in which half of the time you cannot understand what the fuck William Dafoe or Robert Pattinson are saying. I cannot. I fucking can't. With all the subtitles, that movie is hard for me to comprehend.
Yeah.
Okay?
But
Even
that's
The
what
Witch
gives them
for that is,
character.
and that's what
Like
brings
even-
that effect out.
Like my mom tried to watch The Moonlight and she hates subtitles. She was like, please put the subtitles on. I cannot watch this movie. I don't know what these black guys are talking about.
Tell her to watch anime, dude. Tell her to watch anime. She'll start coordinating her eyes after that. So एक आँख subtitles पे एक आँख visuals पे. Oh.
But okay, but
Bald
like
guy said what?
one thing, one thing I think all of us have collectively brought our points ahead and opinions, and unfortunately, like every time
One thing
we have
what?
we have brought our points and opinions ahead, and like every time we have to bring this episode to an end.
Yes.
So with that being
Okay.
said,
No. Okay. Before we bring this to an end, your most favorite film of
We didn't talk about
that you have.
Anderson.
Oh fuck yeah.
what?
Hey, Saurabh, we'll remove the 15-minute monologue from the start. Okay, we'll put Paul Thomas Anderson here. Come on, let's speak about Paul
We can
Thomas
just
Anderson.
do
It's actually
another
important.
episode.
No, don't take
No,
out
no,
the
no.
monologue. You know, in the middle, Saurav was saying something, and then we started blabbering something about before talking about
You need to
trailers
strip
too.
out a lot of the Avatar stuff.
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
That also. Oh, let's talk about Paul Thomas
I'll
Anderson.
just
Also,
put a
action-
big episode up. I don't give a fuck.
Okay, cool. Then do that. Yes, let's talk about Paul Thomas. Yes, Rohan, could you please?
Phantom Thread. Finally. Phantom Thread. Just can you have you ever seen Paul Thomas Anderson stuff? Anybody?
Yeah, I have seen a couple of.
Yeah.
I have
Yeah,
seen
I
only
was-
one film.
This one?
That is There Will Be Blood. That's all I have seen. But I've not seen anything else.
Phantom
Like, I've not
Thread
seen
is
Paul Thomas
actually
Anderson.
fucking beautiful. It's beautiful.
Paul Thomas Anderson is excelled in like everything. Like so fleshed out characters, like such beautiful.
Daniel
People make look
Day-Lewis.
milkshake intimidating.
Yeah, Daniel Day-Lewis
Without
and
without
Phantom Thread
without
gave
any
me the jeepers
fancy
creepers for a lot of money.
distracting visual effects, without anything, without just proper story.
Dude, and the thing is,
He
I don't
and
watch
his
romantic
paper-
movies, okay? But Phantom Thread made me watch a romantic drama which was actually good.
Like he and his paper, like and also Daniel Day Lewis, like
Yes.
they do magic. They do magic. Like
That
Dude, Daniel
chemistry.
Day-Lewis in Gangs of
Gangs
New
of
Yeah, Gangs of New York.
single-
Oh my god.
Every single thing he doesn't. You want to mimic him
He
after
is
the
scary.
movie.
you want to know, you want to know what's acting? Go watch Daniel Day Lewis.
Even Lincoln, fucking hell, he's
Oh,
terrific.
Lincoln,
in
yes.
Lincoln.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Jesus
but
Christ.
Paul Thomas
Which is a
Anderson.
Steven Spielberg movie, something I
Yeah.
only found out recently.
Ha,
It is.
it doesn't feel like a Steven
Like
Spielberg
in
movie.
Gangs of New York, whenever he was on the screen, I knew he was going to stab at least one person. Yeah, like you can't go out of the scene without stabbing anyone. Paul Thomas.
Yeah, that was there. That was definitely there.
Yeah, like Phantom Thread was one of his like a little slower movies. I have no problem with slow movies. Make the movie as slow as possible. Just make it like good. But it is one of his slower movies. But There Will Be Blood was such an amazing provide. Like I have favorite movie. There Will Be Blood. Yeah.
There will be
Guys.
blood set some new boundaries and limits for
Yeah.
film in general.
Okay,
Guys, have you seen Taxi Driver?
Oh
Yes.
my
Oh, yes.
god, who has it?
I recently saw this film.
So I didn't like the movie the first time I saw it, but I saw it like for the second time, and yeah, and
I
that's
get
when
it.
I got
I
it.
get it because it was the same thing for me. It was only the second time that I watched the movie that I truly understood it. But after the first time, I wanted to go back the second time because, like Rohan said, I kept thinking about the movie even though I thought I did not like it.
Yeah.
And then the second time
I
I watched
agree.
it, yeah, the second time I watched it, I started noticing everything that Scorsese is doing. And the reason Taxi Driver is very special for me is because Taxi Driver is the first movie that made me want to like consider filmmaking as a career or whatever. Because it was the first time I saw a movie and I was like, the director is doing something and I'm noticing that.
Mm.
That was
Yeah,
for me
same
with John
same
Wick.
goes for me like Shining. Shining is a movie that I like watched twice, thrice, and every time I see Shining, I like come up with new stuff when he's talking to his child, and the next scene the child has his thumb in his mouth and coming to his like his wife. It's like the father has harassed him or something. It's like it's I feel in that sense.
Even
Like
Yeah.
even
thumb
even like the
is the
smallest of the sound design in the movie.
and yes, what the fuck did he do with the sound design, man? It's so
But
Like
has
good.
anyone seen the sequel Doctor Sleep?
It's
no, I
fucking
haven't.
amazing. Yeah,
Yeah,
I think
most
someone
people
we did
have.
not talk about is Mike Flanagan, which not a lot of people are aware of. Guys, you guys are missing out if you don't know Mike Flanagan is, okay? He is literally the best horror drama
Horror
director of our
directors.
time. Horror thriller drama, okay? Mike Flanagan has broken the boundaries of horror and thriller films in 2010, 2015, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20 eras and still giving you fresh new content that you wouldn't expect, and
But
that is a feat to accomplish.
but out of all the movies that he's released, which one is your favorite?
Hush.
Like, I mean, if someone
Hush.
has seen Mike Flanagan here,
Hush, Hush, Hush
yours is Hush.
literally
Hush has a very,
movie
very
with the
compelling
lowest
story.
budget ever. It has collectively only 4 characters in it. And
Yeah,
it,
and there's no suspense, and there's no suspense. And like,
The
you're
entire
like,
movie
oh,
is a
someone's gonna come from the
suspense.
back. It's no. A suspense as in like, we all know who the character is. There are only two
Jump
characters
scares,
involved. Yeah, there's like
everything is
no
established
jump
and
scare,
used
right?
to its
It's a complete.
perfection.
Yeah, exactly. Like that's what makes it
I
such an
think my
amazing
recent,
film.
I think my recent favorite, I don't think it's a horror film as much as it is an occult film or whatever, is Get Out.
Oh
Yeah.
yes.
That's a
Yeah,
horror.
Get
I-
Out, Get
I
Out is
think a
very
lot of-
scary. It's
Yeah.
not even a horror film in many ways, but it is scary.
It is terrifying.
Most recent movie I have seen is Choked. Liked it very much.
But
Okay,
Has
guys,
anyone?
one second. One
uh,
second. Oh, Saurabh, I have to go now.
okay, fine. I'll end the
sorry,
episode.
yeah,
Can you
okay,
wait
good.
like just 2 minutes? Can I just end it and then?
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll end this podcast.
So with
But
that
before
being
we end
said,
it,
You know,
yeah, okay. Before we end this podcast, your favorite film that you have, like the most favorite film you have watched of all time, uh, not of this era or what, just any film that you watched in general,
I
which is,
cannot put one
remains
name
till
ahead.
date. No, but there is probably that one film that
The
for
movie
you does
that
not beat
for
over
me
the
personally
rest.
made me choose the entire aspect of film as a career is John Wick. While that might be a very cliched thing or something to you guys, but John Wick is a movie that's done right with every sequel to its maximum
True.
core.
Yeah, true.
I
It
don't
gets
give
better
a
every
fuck if
sequel
you
also.
say it's cliched. John Wick has introduced new substance and it has the best world building I've ever seen.
And it makes it compelling and even better.
Every
Like, it's
part is better
second
than
and
the
third
one
movie is even
before.
better.
How do you manage to
before,
even fucking
exactly.
do that?
This
Like,
this
how?
is this is good for a quick PSA. Please don't kill people's dogs.
Please don't kill people.
I mean, you can do that also. You just go to jail. That's all.
But
That's all I
yeah,
want.
okay, quick guys, movies, favorite movies.
Yeah,
Shantanu.
quick. Favorite movies. Shantanu, what's your favorite film of all time?
The movie that got me interested with films is Grand Budapest Hotel.
Okay,
What
Anirudh.
about?
Anirudh, your favorite film of all time.
Yeah, mine's Taxi Driver outright.
Okay, fine. Rohan, yours.
Rohan?
Avatar.
Okay.
Oh,
Okay.
and
Saurabh.
Avatar,
Okay.
Avatar,
And,
and Spider-Man: Homecoming.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Saurabh.
Yeah.
My favorite film. I don't know if anyone of you has watched it here.
Just say it.
This film is called 12 Angry Men.
Yeah.
Has
my
anyone-
Yeah,
God.
we all know it.
Yeah, one of the most phenomenal films, and the only black and white film that I was just watching. Like, I mean, I usually get bored of black
Oh,
and
you
white
were
films, but
watching.
yeah, like no, I mean, no, technically, like most of the black and white films just bore me because there's no color, right? But like, I mean, I think this is something
Yeah,
that we can
that's
collectively agree on. Like, it kind of gets a little
Sort
off.
of.
No.
Depends on your taste.
I disagree.
No,
Okay,
like I
depends
get,
on
your
I
personal
get why.
taste.
No, no,
may
I
not-
mean-
it doesn't to me, but I get why he's saying
yeah,
that.
exactly.
No,
Anybody
at
who
least
doesn't
previously-
look at black and white films mainly because it's black and white haven't watched any of the noir films.
No. Okay. I get what I'm saying. So this thing is that the first film, which was black and white, was actually 12 Angry Men that I watched, and hence I started getting
understand.
into, because see, previously I had this stereotype, like even okay, don't kill me when I say this, but Charlie Chaplin films are great.
They are.
But
No one's denying
yeah,
that.
yeah, but before watching 12 Angry Men, Charlie Chaplin films was like, oh, okay, it's silent, it's black and white, cool. Like that's all was
Yeah.
going in my head. No. Don't get me wrong. I loved it.
No,
Very
like,
great.
dude,
No.
I know
I
to
am
you and
getting
me, it may
guys.
not be
No.
like that, but I can
I-
understand why people feel that.
Yeah, I
Whatever,
used
man,
to,
I'm just
because
joking.
because I was a 9-year-old kid watching Charlie Chaplin. It was funny, but it was not that compelling for me. But
Definitely.
like I think growing a little older, when my brain
Yeah.
cells started, flourishing, that's when
When
I realized
half
like
your
no,
brain
black and
cell
white
grew
films are
up.
shut the
So
fuck up, man.
basically, we're supposed to hate your childhood self.
Yeah, I did. I was like, no, when I could not understand films, like, I think most of you can agree here. Like, no one grew up watching art films in general,
Yeah.
right?
No,
People were,
we spoke about this last episode.
If
yeah,
Doom 2 is an art
and
film.
Shut the
no.
fuck. Okay, guys, but
Pray
honestly,
to Jesus,
I,
okay?
I, I
Yeah.
have to pull this. I have to pull the creator
God.
plug over here and say, okay, fun episode, everything, all things aside. Please, the people who are listening to this till now, who have made it to this far, if you have the time, look out for directors like Bergman, Alfred Hitchcock, Yorgos Lanthimos, Mike Flanagan. Christopher Nolan, James Cameron, they're all great people, okay, but you're missing out on that. Wes
Sidney
Anderson,
Lumet.
the
Sidney
Sidney
Lumet.
Lumet,
And
the guy who
also
made 12
and
Angry Men.
also watch Hindi movies.
And also watch
Like
Yes,
good
please.
Hindi
good
movies.
the good Hindi movies.
Yeah. With that being said,
Go
guys,
watch
you know what to do.
Devi.
All the respective links are in the description as last time, and all the places that our podcast is available on. We're trying to get a podcast up on Apple Music as well, so it might be on iTunes soon. And with that being said, thank you so much for watching, and I hope you guys had a great time. You know the drill, like, subscribe. And this episode, we have one request from you guys. Let us know your favorite movie of all time in the comment section below. Because we want to know what
And
you
why?
guys look out for.
And why?
And why?
And why?
And why?
Provide a description.
Keep it short,
Yes.
keep it long.
We will read
it.
comment.
We'll read it. हम लोग को वैसे भी comments याद है,
Yes.
पढ़ लेंगे. Okay?
Yeah, and if you're watching this on Spotify, then DM us.
Yeah, you can
Please.
DM us. हमारे Instagram link से नीचे DM
Yes.
us. You can just DM us.
Yes.
So with that being said,
Yes.
thank you so much for watching. We'll catch you guys in the season finale of Talk Shit Podcast with Saurabh and Saurabh Talk Shit Podcast. Proud of
Yes.
this. And the next Friday, and I hope you guys like it because we have something very big, something very, very, what do you say?
Good coming up.
Yeah, something very tough that we have planned with which we hope to excel. And a little spoiler, it's about something to do with a topic that everyone is aware of, but not necessarily bring it out in the open this much. So,
Yes.
with that being said, I will catch you guys next time. Don't
Yes.
sleep with your sister. Adios.
Bye.
Why was that necessary?